G'day there, this is part 2 in my discussion about collisions, about the development momentum theory. I sometimes call it MOMO. And what we actually see is this position from the fishing pole trap where Black is trying to get this incredible snapping catch of the fish, being the king, down the H file. So I'm going to talk to you first about how I used to respond and how I respond now. So the first way I would respond is, well, I'm being attacked down the flank and the center's not really closed or controlled or resolved. I'm going to respond in the center. So this was my response before the theory, and I'll show you my response in the next video, part 3, about how I responded. So what we have is we have 2 pieces attacking and we have 2 defending, and this move frees up the bishop and it really threatens to win material and or at least get some decent exchanges and have a great game. Everything for white is open and flowing. So what I recommend is for black is to capture, and this is how most people typically respond, and then I would develop the bishop. And now black is really cramped. The king is stuck in the center. The knight has moved twice, and my goal is to make it so untenable to stay there. The knight has to move again and waste more time, because development, if you remember from the first videos on the development momentum theory, you know it's to do with time. Time plays a huge part in development, and time is like the energy in the position, and it's another way of saying energy. And so because energy is part of the equation, and what's actually happened now is white has 3 pieces out that have only moved once. And black has only 2 pieces, but one of those pieces has moved twice. So it's like every time you move, you're getting baggage. You're getting baggage behind yourself that you're carrying along. So if you have a piece that's moved 3 times, capturing a piece that's only moved once, you've actually lost a couple of bags of luggage there. That's not very good. So in this position here, I'm interested in getting as much impulse as possible, as much development as possible, so that I can actually have momentum, all right, superior momentum, and I just run right over him. So black's point of view here is I need to open up. I need to play vigorously and actively in the center, because I'm sort of giving up. I'm falling behind. It's quite significant. So typically, a strong player will play the freeing move, d5. Now, I've been in many positions like this, and once again, I want to create as much impulse as possible to get that momentum. Because it's not just the value of the pieces; it's how active they are. Or another way of saying activity is velocity. So there's a very, very much a science to this. I want to get as much velocity as much as possible, because weaker pieces can be just as strong as more valuable pieces when they've got that speed. Like an advanced pawn can be more valuable than a queen, and so when they've got that speed, when they're closer to the other side. So because it's all linear here, we're all trying to get to the end zone. So after d5, typically I'm like, well, I've castled my king. My king is safe. What you do one side, you do to the other, the golden rule. So I haven't finished my development. Now, this is not a very good spot for the knight here. It blocks my queen, it blocks the flow. The best place for my knight is here. So how can I get my knight here in a hurry? Sacrifice the pawn. Now this is a very typical idea. I want to combusting through the center. Combustion. And now I've had people respond in all sorts of ways to this, where they've captured and it's gone quite ugly for them. I've even seen them play bishop to e6, bishop to d7. And but I think the best move is to free up some space for your king, because I'm flying through the center. I'm reacting violently in the center. I'm not waiting time. You've initiated an early attack without controlling the center. See, there's the center of value. Okay, basically it's like gravity. It increases the pull of that of the pieces, their activity, their force, and because obviously if they have more activity, okay, because force is change in momentum over change of time. Momentum is the value of the piece and multiplied by this activity. So you want to change the forcefulness of your position, how much force you're able to bust through. So in this position here, I'm playing a very, very strong club player. He played, I think, the best response. So I've looked at this with Stockfish and other computer programs, and that bishop move there is very, very good. And so what I actually do is I actually in this position here also I've seen them give in and play back as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so bishop e7 sort of closes it all down. The knight comes back. May have got my move order wrong. But anyway, so the idea is that I get a strong center. They break the pin on the knight, and I get my knight in there. And that's the idea, to play in the center, force them to remove their knight back, make them concede this whole early attack was a waste of time. And that's how I'd respond. I'd respond as dynamically as I could. Alright, with as much development as I could. Anyway, let's go back. Let's just start from the beginning again. Okay. Alright, let's see how fast I can do this and be neat at the same time. Sometimes it's good to, if you're losing your way, to start at the beginning. Go back to the beginning, Alice. Alright. So let's have a look. Typical early defense of the Spanish. Castle. An early escapade. Wonderful tactic. And we saw how I would respond to it. Alright. In the next video, in part 3, I'm going to talk to you about how the development momentum theory has changed the way I play this position. Obviously, I'm not going to retake the pawn, so I want you, without the help of a computer, I want you to set up this position and tell me if you think you have a way of bringing your pieces together, colliding them together to create a larger sum of their momentum. Okay, so that they're more powerful than the sum of their parts, if that makes sense. And so take your time, set it up, get a coffee, and be sure to hit the like, subscribe, press the doobie-doos, do all that. And in part 3 we'll look at the position from a development momentum theory, and we'll look at it will change the way, this theory will change the way that you play, and it will change the way you respond to positions. So it will change You should be able to, in one breath, explain to me exactly what move you think, and please post down below what you think it should be without looking at a computer, and why. Give me your variations about why, and I'm very, very interested to see what you think. And always try and go, 3 moves deep. Always try and go the 3. Okay. It's the rule of 3. You need 3 pieces to mate, 1 to sacrifice, and 2 to break in. It's the rule of 3. Things are, pawns are stronger when they're in a triangle, and so there you have it. Try and look 3 moves deep, and I'll be speaking to you through the magic of YouTube. Alright, take care. Bye!